around everybody has just been fantastic. I think you're a great, great bunch of talented people, committed, and it's just been a very, very rich and wonderful experience for me. It's 18 years since the last time I played Spock. 18 years is hard to believe. And it's 42 years since I first started. So it means a lot to me to be here with all of you people tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, thank you.
Live long and prosper.
We knew going in that, writing the script would be hard and figuring out how to do all we wanted to do would be difficult, but no clues.
I would if I said it's out there.
And he's like, well, that's not really what, how a Russian would, but he ended up doing it because it was so classic.
Answer authorization code 95 Victor 2. Walter said, in order to make this something successful, in order to make it something great, you have to do your own thing. The fun thing for me was to take what he brought to it, but also finding that balance between where's Chekhov's accent and where's a real Russian accent. Our mission is to assess the condition of Vulcan and assist in evacuations if necessary. We should be arriving at Vulcan within 3 minutes. Thank you for your time.
You are Montgomery Scott.
Hi, that's me. You're in the right place. Unless there's another hard-working, equally starving Starfleet officer around.
Me.
Shut up!
In trying to cast Scotty, the key was the balance of the cast, finding someone in there who could make you laugh.
Are you a member of Starfleet?
Yes. Can I have a towel?
We first saw Simon Pegg and Shaun of the Dead, and he ended up being in Mission Impossible 3.
Not keep it together. What happened is that?
I emailed him. I just said, do you want to play Scotty?
And I looked at the email and it just said, would you like to play Scotty? And I kind of looked at it twice and I showed it to my wife and she said, oh.
And he emailed back, are you kidding? And then he said, I don't know if I could do it. It's too big of it. And so I emailed back, what, too bad, okay. Instantly I get an email back from him saying, wait, hold on a second.
I can't change the laws of physics.
I loved the original TV series. I remember watching it when I was 9 or 10 years old on holiday. I have a really strong memory. It used to be on BBC Two in the UK at 6 o'clock every night. And it was a real appointment to view for me. I mean, James Doohan, it was such a great characterization. He had his light side, but he was also a fighter and a drinker. He was like what you would expect a Scot to be, really. I'm married to one, so she's not a fighter or a drinker.
I like this ship. It's exciting.
He just completely, knows the accent inside out, able to do it, just, genius.
I'm sure it's not your fault. I'm sure you lads are just doing your wee job, but could you not come a wee bit sooner?
But Tommy Gormley, who's our first AD, he's a Scottish first AD, so it was fantastic having the, Scottish police right there.
Quick! Marks!
The Scottish accent is I think it's fantastic. I've got a very critical ear for hearing bad Scottish accents. But he's got a wife from Glasgow, so he was already an honorary Scot.
It's a massive pressure because the fans out there are so numerous and so dedicated. This is their thing, and I'm kind of one of them, so you just want to please them as much as everyone else.
Kirk to engineering, get us out of here, Scotty.
You bitchin' ass, Captain!
Why aren't we at war?
I'm giving her all she's got, Captain!
In studying the original series and the history of how it came about, Captain Kirk and all that kind of stuff, if you read about it, was very much inspired by Kennedy.
Maximum warp, punch it.
We'd seen Bruce Greenwood's performance in 13 Days where he played Kennedy. And so the idea of having the same gravitas that he brought to that presidential role to the first captain of the Enterprise, you feel it. Like you could have your own show and movie just about Captain Pike.
Outside, all of you.
He gives it a believability that is going to be essential.
I got a call from JJ going, do you want to come down and would you like to be involved? And I went, yeah, I think, maybe. Could I see a script? He goes, oh, no, you can't see the script. You'll have to come in here into a room with somebody sitting outside, like this, and read it, and then we'll talk. So I came and read it, and then I said to JJ, yeah, for sure.
You're here for business, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay, all right.
Bruce is such a, he comes across as such an earnest guy, and he's so, this kind of the smart, handsome, guy. And he's literally the funniest guy I've ever met in my life.
After putting these in, I just felt kind of Elvis.
I like it before. I like it before. Do you mind doing that, by the way, in every scene?
I think it's important I do.
He's like the really cool uncle that you want to have, And we were all we were hanging out at his house, and we were just like, man, such a really cool, great, interesting person.
I would like him around, even if he's not in anything I do, because just to have him there was such a joy. He is awesome.
Yeah. I think it's Spain.
I'm not going to kill him. I'm going to make him watch.
Well, Eric Bana, again, continues a long list of the embarrassment of riches that is our casting.
Something like Star Trek is so iconic that when you're then approached to be involved, you do pinch yourself.
It's often said in screenwriting that sometimes your movie is only as good as its bad guy.
It's not simply to avoid the destruction of the home that I love.
The bad guy that you can't relate to sometimes ultimately becomes a non-bad guy. The bad guy you can relate to becomes much more engaging to the audience.
Only then will she be safe.
He's very thoughtful and cares so much about what he's doing and really is incredibly focused. And the other thing is he's willing to try a broad range, and that was critical for this part.
Why was it a different lot to do a version?
Because as the bad guy, you can get that mustache twirly, lame, over-the-top thing.
You're absolutely right. It can't just be the same note. It's got to be a different thing.
And Eric gave us incredible range from take to take, where I would ask for a little bit more, a little bit less.
Isn't that right, Spock?
Go back to the top. Go.
Isn't that right, Spock?
He would be willing to go, from one extreme to the other.
Fire everything! I knew I should have killed you when I had the chance.
I felt as though the writers had almost treated his villainness with a grain of salt. And I thought he would be an entertaining villain. And most of all, from a selfish point of view, I knew it would be a lot of fun to play.
I take no pleasure in your extinction.
Despite the fact that he's doing these terrible things, you actually feel really bad for him. And that, to me, can only be done by a brilliant actor.
This is a really funny cast. I mean, everybody is like seriously funny people.
What blind spot?
His exhaust valve.
His anus.
His anus.
It's, it goes to show you what we do is incredibly fun. And it's stupid that we get paid for it.
On the flip side, I feel like there's a certain sense of nervousness because it's such a small club that we're members of at this point. And I think it bonds us even tighter.
I definitely feel honored to be part of the Star Trek family and to have worked with amazing actors. I feel like that's what I live for.
The fact that we're going to get to be ambassadors for this franchise and for these stories and for the fact that ultimately Star Trek sort of posits the notion that we can have a better world. And I think we all are aware of the fact that we live in times when that's an important sentiment. And to be connected to it with people that have that at their core is a great honor.
Among the things that were little mini blessings of this was to celebrate Leonard.
We hadn't heard anything about Spock from him for a long time. So I thought it might be interesting to find some way of bringing it around.
There was a general aura that was around on the set whenever it was around. Everyone was excited. There was an extra sense of, he's here.
I remember watching him do his first scene as Spock for the first time.